This is Kim Newlove, host of the Pharmacist Voice podcast. Today, I made it to the finish line of a 30-day podcasting challenge called NaPodPoMo. It stands for National Podcast Post Month. November is National Podcast Post Month, and the goal of the challenge is 30 podcast episodes in 30 days. I did it. I published one podcast episode per day this month. Today is Monday, November 30th, 2020. 30 down, 0 to go. I want to take just a moment to thank Jennifer Navarrete, founder of NaPodPoMo, for including me in this challenge and for creating a supportive Facebook community for participants to network and encourage one another. Your enthusiasm for this challenge is contagious, and I appreciate your support. Congratulations to my fellow challenge participants. We did it. I also want to thank Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting for making me aware of NaPodPoMo. I heard about it on one of his podcast episodes. Check the show notes for links to the School of Podcasting and NaPodPoMo. What did I learn from NaPodPoMo? For one thing, I learned it's okay to try new things. I gave myself permission to try a different format. I have a weekly podcast that airs each Friday. I alternate solo shows and interview shows. The solo shows are about my career change from pharmacist to voice actor, and the interview shows feature a variety of people who use their voices to advocate, educate, or entertain. To learn more about my podcast, visit thepharmacistvoice.com. During NaPodPoMo, I still had those weekly shows on Friday, but on the other 26 days in November, I either talked about my new online course, Pronounce Drug Names Like a Pro, or I came up with something else. I gave myself permission to start and end the show a different way and talk about something different in the middle. Also during NaPodPoMo, I created episode artwork that was different from my usual episode artwork. I wanted to incorporate the name of my podcast, the episode number, the term NaPodPoMo, and the day of the challenge the episode was published on. For example, today is day 30 of 30. There's continuity in the design, but it's also different from my usual solo episodes. What else did I learn from the 30-day NaPodPoMo challenge? I learned that coming up with something to talk about every day and finding the time to talk about it is a challenge for me personally. As a voice actor and an audiobook narrator, I'm used to reading off a script or from a book. Making an outline with talking points took up time and mental space. Something else that happened during NaPodPoMo is that I got more comfortable with shorter podcast show notes. I've heard that show notes should be between 300 and 800 words. They help with search engine optimization, or SEO. My show notes are usually at least 800 words. I tried to go for 350 words or less during NaPodPoMo. No one complained, so I might be writing shorter show notes on a regular basis now. NaPodPoMo was a significant time commitment for me because I already have a lot of other commitments. Was it worth it? Yes. Am I glad I did it? Of course. Am I glad it's done? Definitely. Is my family glad the challenge is over? Oh yeah. It took time each day to think about what to say, set up my recording space, record, edit, and produce the audio, create artwork, write show notes, and upload everything to my podcast host, Libsyn. A lot of little pieces make up every podcast episode. It's like a puzzle. I meant to do this challenge last November, 2019. I didn't launch until December 4th, 2019, so I completely missed NaPodPoMo last year. Now I know what I was missing out on. I honestly don't think I could have done this last year. Just with me and my skill set, I've seen what I put into it this year, and now I know what it's like. I am super glad I waited until this year, and I had a good experience because I waited. I learned quickly that creating bite-sized podcast episodes was the way to go for me for NaPodPoMo. I have a lot of responsibilities right now. My kids' school schedule is unpredictable. My husband is working between 60 and 70 hours per week, and I have no childcare. In order to keep my workload realistic, I opted for most of my 26 extra podcast episodes this month to be less than 5 minutes long. I record, edit, and produce audio almost daily for my voiceover business or for my podcast. Just to give you some perspective, here's some numbers. When I audition for most voiceover jobs, The total runtime for the audition script is less than 30 seconds. If I'm pitching a client with a personalized demo, the sample is maybe 2 minutes. Audiobook auditions vary, but less than 5 minutes is pretty normal. My podcast interviews are typically between 30 and 60 minutes, and my solo episodes about my journey from pharmacist to voice actor are typically between 6 and 17 minutes long. Throwing in something extra takes time, whether it's 3 minutes or 60. The bite-sized episodes were about all I could handle this month. They were short, I liked it that way, and I'm happy to be done. Let's wrap this up. I am a happy girl today because I made it to the finish line of the NaPodPoMo podcasting challenge. Thank you again to Jennifer Navarrete for including me in the challenge, and congratulations to my fellow challengers. I'm looking forward to returning to my regular schedule this Friday, December 4th. It's an interview with Dr. Lauren Castle, a functional medicine pharmacist.